All right, welcome guys to the NBA live stream. We got 3 games to go over on Thursday. It's not that good of a slate, to be honest. Like I'm excited to try to I'm gonna try to watch a little bit of this Lakers Bucks game. But Knicks Warriors should be played at a slow pace. Same with Pelicans and Jazz, and it's just not a ton of value. So it's like leaning towards obviously getting more exposure in that first game, but then you just have to play value plays that you don't really want to. So I don't think there's a big edge in the slate, to be honest. I mean, maybe a safer way to go about this would be play 1 or 2 stars and a little bit more balanced. But even so, there's like not a ton I love in the mid-range too. So it's a slate I'm personally going to be taking it easy on once again. Small slates I always do, but this one I will for sure be taking it easy. Just because, just not super confident in it. But let's go over what we know so far. Really, I think we are all this stuff is for Friday. I think it's basically up to date. Like there's no breaking news that we're really waiting on. Let's refresh this. I mean, they have LeBron listed as questionable, but he's gonna play. So yeah, we're really up to date on news. As far as over-unders go, so yeah, first game, clearly the game that has the most upside. Lakers, Bucks, a 228.5 over-under. The Bucks are 1.5 point favorites. Pelicans and Jazz is a 217.5 over-under. The Jazz are 7-point favorites. And Knicks and Warriors, a 214.5 over-under. The Warriors are 5-point favorites. Again, the Knicks have been pretty solid defensively this year. I will give it to them for sure. Thibodeau has done a good job there with defense. All right, so let's talk about Lakers Bucks first. So, I mean, obviously Anthony Davis and LeBron James both look really good here. In competitive game, last game, AD played 37, LeBron played 38. This game should stay close. So if we get close to those high 30s minutes again, like we were last season for LeBron and AD, then they are underpriced at 9.2 and 9.4. Now they could go back to like the 33, 34 minutes, but I have a feeling they could get extended a bit just because it's a bigger game, right? We kind of saw it with Brooklyn and Milwaukee a couple of games ago. Like all the main guys played like huge minutes on both teams, right? Giannis got 40. DeAndre Jordan got almost 40 in the opposites. Like you just got players play way more than they usually do. I think this could be a case where we get some big minutes out of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And if that's the case, if we get close to 40 from these guys, they are both underpriced, and they're 2 of the top plays in the slate. I think everyone understands that. And Giannis also is a really good play as well. But then it's just like, if you play these guys, or you play 3 of 3 stars, then you got to play some value guys that you don't want to, because there's not a lot of value that stands out. So, yeah, it's just tricky slate for that reason. With LeBron versus AD, don't have a super strong take here. I mean, LeBron's been slightly better this year, and he is $200 cheaper. So I guess, optimal might prefer LeBron, but definitely think you can play both. It's like Schroeder's one of those guys in the mid-range I think goes forgotten about. Did have 38 fantasy points last game. I think he's like neutral play. I don't know if we have to go there unless you're building a more balanced lineup. Montrezl Harrell's probably the guy in the mid tier of the Lakers that I like the best. Minutes have been a little up and down for him, but I think we get around 25 minutes from him. He's a decent point per minute guy. He's had 30, 25, and 32 fantasy points the last 3 games. I like the matchup for him, whether or not he's out there against Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis. That's a good spot for Harrell. So, yeah, I think he's actually a pretty solid play 5-2. Normally a guy I kind of avoid with Anthony Davis and LeBron healthy, but I think Montrez is the guy I would look to of those guys in the mid-range. Like Kuzma, not as excited about it. I talked about it in my video, but he's been rebounding at an insane rate. Like, that is not going to continue. So, I think for me, I'd rather play Montrez over Kyle Kuzma. KCP at 3.7. Again, we know, or you should know, what you're getting out of KCP by now. About 20 to 25 minutes, and very reliant on the scoring. So he's in a group of 15 or so guys in this value range. I would say about that many that you can take shots on. I don't feel good about anyone below 4K, but if you play that Stars and Scrubs build, obviously you have to play guys like this. So it's yes, he's one of many that are in consideration. Don't love it, but he can hit the shots and he can go for 20 plus. I guess Marc Gasol's another one. Probably plays 15 to 20 minutes. Said over 20 fantasy points in 2 of the last 4 games. Sure, right? I guess he's in play here. THT's basically out of the rotation. Markieff Morris basically out of the rotation as well, so don't really want to go to those guys. The last guy I will mention is Alex Caruso at 3.2. I know people don't really want to play Caruso, but he should play around 20 minutes. He's actually had double-digit fantasy points the last 4 games. I think he's an okay play here if you need someone really, really cheap. Again, do I feel comfortable at any of the guys below 4K? No. But if you're going that stars and scrubs build, you got to play at least a couple of those guys. Let's move on to the Bucks. Again, obviously, yeah, all 3 of the studs, in my opinion, look good for Milwaukee. Giannis at 10.5, I think he's underpriced. He played 40 minutes last game. You have Middleton at 7.6 and Drew at 6.6. I mean, this is where I want my exposure. If I'm spending up, I want the guys in this game. So, yeah, Drew Holiday at 6.6. I mean, he's playing big minutes, 37, 35, and 37. Chris Middleton also playing big minutes, 37, 36 in competitive games. So, like, all the top 3 Bucks I think look really good. Giannis will be the most popular, but I'm fine with all 3. I definitely think you could play more than one if you want to. Normally, Brook Lopez is a guy I avoid, but we're seeing a change here this season or recently. Earlier on, he was just not like up and down minutes wise. You couldn't really trust it. Now 30, 34, 34 minutes. So minutes are now pretty consistent, about 30 or so, a little more. I think at 5'1", he's definitely in play in the mid-range. He's a good shooter, right? He can get hot behind the three-point line. He will take some threes, 7, 5, 8 3-point attempts the last 3 games. So I think actually Brook Lopez is a pretty decent play there. DiVincenzo at 4.9, I probably rather Brook Lopez. I think he has a little bit of a higher ceiling than DiVincenzo. Bobby Portis, I'm a little bit torn on what to do here because I'm a huge Bobby Portis fan, but the minutes are trending down for him. 17 and only 14 that last game, which is not great to see. But like you could see a scenario where we get Brook Lopez foul trouble, and if we do, you could see Bobby Portis break the slate because he's that good of a point per minute guy. So like, I am intrigued by Bobby Portis. I am. Again, he's really good point per minute guy. It's just a matter of does he get the minutes, and I don't know. Right? It's not looking good recently, 17 and 14. But he could still get, realistically, like 20-plus fantasy points in like 15 minutes. So I'm a little bit undecided on what I want to do here because I think if something happens to Brook Lopez or something weird happens, Bobby Portis plays like over 20 minutes, he could have a really, really good game, right? So he's got that type of upside. Definitely considering him for GPPs. I will mention a couple other value plays because we actually have to consider guys like this on this slate, right? If you're going those stars and scrubs build, a guy like Pat Connaughton has got to be someone you're considering. 20, 17, 19, and 20 fantasy points the last 4 games. He's actually been pretty solid, pretty consistent. He's had over double-digit fantasy points every single game so far, at least in the last, 10 games. So, like, am I really excited about this? Of course not. Again, I don't feel good about anyone below 4K, but Pat Connaughton's actually been pretty solid, and he's actually been stuffed in the stat sheet. I think he's an okay punt play, and I think DJ Augustine is actually viable too. At the flat min price, he shot 0 of 7 last game, so he didn't do anything. But he's getting about 20 minutes. So, like, yeah, he can get you like 15 to 20 fantasy points. He's in play on this slate. And normal slate, no. And that's why, like, I don't think you should be wagering a lot of money on the slate because I just don't think it makes sense. We got to consider those value guys if you are growing the stars and scrubs build, which I think has more upside. I think the stars and scrubs build has more upside. It's riskier. So if you're going for safety on the slate, maybe you do just go more balanced, right? I'm not playing for safety, though. But if you are, maybe you go like Middleton and Montrezl Harrell from this game and maybe Drew Holiday and then like Mitchell and just like all mid-range guys. So you can do it, and I'm okay. I don't think that has a ton of upside, but I think it's probably a safer route to go on the slate. Let's move on to the Knicks and the Warriors. So Knicks, Julius Randle at 8.8 is a really good play in my opinion. Is playing about 40 minutes in competitive games. He shot the ball terribly last game, 5 of 19. Still put up 46 fantasy points. He's basically playing 40 minutes a night unless I play him. When I play him, he plays 30 minutes. But yeah, he should get about 40 minutes. He stuffs the stat sheet. Up-tempo matchup here against Golden State. Not super scared about Draymond. I mean, Draymond's still a solid defender, but like I'm not really worried about it. Like I'm not going to get away from Julius Randle because of Draymond Green. So like I think Randle is definitely a guy that I'm looking to at the top. So we have Alec Burks coming back for the Knicks. I don't think I get to him because I think he'll be on a minutes limit. We haven't got news of that yet, but that kind of just hurts guys. I think it's a slight downgrade to RJ Barrett. Definitely a downgrade to a guy like Reggie Bullock. So probably going to stay away from the fringe value guys from the Knicks. RJ Barrett at almost 7K, I think is fine. He's had 40 plus last couple games. Does have a somewhat low floor. Again, it's a decent matchup, so I think he's like a neutral play. I'm probably not going to get to Mitchell Robinson at that price. Alfred Payton and Emmanuel Quickley should split the point guard minutes. I don't really think Alec Burks affects these guys too much. So Alfred Payton minutes have been up and down. 32, then 20, then 23, then 33. Well, if you look at Quickley, right, in the games that Payton gets limited, Quickley plays more. In the game that Payton plays more, Quickley gets limited. So don't play both these guys together. But Quickley is the guy that intrigues me here. Because when he's out in the court, he's being a very aggressive player, right? He's being like a Bobby Portis. Look at these shot attempts. 15 shot attempts in 22 minutes, 17 shot attempts in 28 minutes, 12 shot attempts in 21 minutes, 10 shot attempts in 15 minutes. He's the point guard. He's obviously got a floor of assist. So, like, I am very intrigued by Quickley. Also, like a Bobby Portis, if he gets the minutes, he can crush. It's just a matter of, does he get the minutes? And that's a good question. I don't know if he's going to get the minutes, right? It's been up and down with him and Alfred Payton. So, like, but these are the guys I kind of want to target, right? If I'm targeting value guys, I want to target the guys where if things go right, they can have a huge game. And if things go right and Quickley gets, like, close to 30 minutes, he will break the slate most likely at this price. If things go right for Bobby Portis and he gets more minutes, or you get Brook Lopez foul trouble and he plays 25 minutes, he will most likely break the slate, right? So, like, these are guys that I want to consider because we know the upside is there. It's there quickly. It's just a matter of, does he get the minutes? And that's a good question. I don't know, right? If Alfred Payton plays well, he probably gets extended. So it's are you willing to take that risk, right? It's definitely a risk. Reggie Bullock at 4-3 with Alec Burks back, I'm going to stay away. I think he takes a pretty big hit minutes-wise, so I'm going to pass there. Again, Alec Burks himself, I'm probably not going to play unless we get news that there's, like, no minutes limit. I would assume they ease him back. I would assume. Again, he's been, like, the games he played, he was good. 36, 38 fantasy points. We'll see. If there's no minutes restriction, then I think Alec Burks is a good play. If there is, not going to play him, and then it just takes, again, Reggie Bullock out of play. Austin Rivers, doubtful. Doesn't do a ton. Probably will give a lot of those minutes to Alec Burks. Maybe a few more to, like, Quickley or Alf Payton. Let's see. Nerlens Noel's the last guy I'll mention here at 3.6K. He's the backup center. So there's, like, 3 or 4 of these, like, centers that are in play, like guys that are probably going to play 15 to 20 minutes, right? We have Marc Gasol at 3.6. We have Nerlens Noel at 3.6. We have Derek Favors at, I think, 3.6 too. And you have, like, Jackson Hayes at, like, 3. There's, like, all these, like, backup centers that are going to play, like, 15 to 20 minutes. Noel is actually a decent point per minute guy. And again, I like the matchup. I think he's an okay punt play. Again, don't love it, but I think he's actually viable. Kevin Knox at 3.2. I'm off. Minutes are trending down for him. Plus, we have Alec Burks back, so I'm not going to go there. And Obi Toppin, barely in the rotation, I think could be out of the rotation now with Alec Burks back, so I'm going to stay away from those two guys. All right, let's move on to the Warriors. Real quick, though, guys, I'll ask you if you enjoy this content to hit that like button and subscribe. We are at, already almost 400 viewers for a 3-game slate. That is a lot. So thank you, guys. Again, let's try to aim for, 75 likes in this. I'll stay on for a good 10 minutes. Again, get to questions at the end. I'll go a little bit quicker here. So Steph Curry at 9.6 is in play. More contrarian play just because, honestly, the Knicks have been pretty solid defensively. Like, they have. I think I prefer, the stars in the first game, but Steph Curry is always in play for GPPs. Wiggins at 6.2. I don't play him, but I actually think he's an okay play. Should play, like, low to mid 30s minutes. He's been decent. Same thing with Kelly Oubre. Like, Kelly Oubre's been playing better recently. I think both those secondary plays for the Warriors are actually viable. Draymond Green's all right too. Again, blowout kind of hurt him last game, but he's a guy who can stuff the stat sheet. Like, all those secondary plays for the Warriors, I think, are solid. I don't know if one really stands out. Again, they're just kind of neutral plays for me. Not going to get to Pascal. The guy that I like the best, I think, for value tonight is James Wiseman. Another guy that, right, if things go right and he can stay out of foul trouble, he's been good. 3 of the last 4 games that he stayed out of foul trouble, 26, 27, and 25 minutes, 22, 32, and 33 fantasy points. And I like this spot. I'm not afraid of Mitchell Robinson defense. So, like, I am intrigued by James Wiseman here. I think he does have upside. So I'm definitely looking to him for value. Lee, Bazemore, just not a... Sorry. Ooh, that came out of nowhere. There's just too many guys, and, like, no one's playing enough minutes off the bench. Like, you have Wanamaker, Bazemore, Lee. You can take a shot on one of these guys. probably one of those guys gets close to 20 minutes, but I don't feel good about it. And then finally, Pelicans and Jazz. Pelicans side, Ingram, too pricey for me. Zion Williamson at 7-7, I think is a pretty solid play. Again, don't love the matchup for him, but he's had over 40 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So yeah, Zion's a solid play if you can get to him. Steven Adams, again, neutral play, should play close to 30 minutes, decent point per minute guy. Fine. The guards with like Lonzo, Bledsoe, NAW, I think one of those guys has a decent game. Again, Lonzo's limited last game. NAW still played over 30 minutes on the bench. And then you have all these guys are kind of up and down. If I had to pick one, I might just go NAW and hope he continues to get decent minutes on the bench. But I don't know if one really stands out there. Kind of the same thing with Josh Hart. JJ Redick's kind of out of play with those guards, with all the guards healthy. Last guy I'll mention is Jackson Hayes. Probably gets 10 to 15 minutes. Again, like a Nerlens Noel, like a Marc Gasol, like a Favors. These guys are, in play. I don't love any of them, but they're in play for going that stars and scrubs build. And then lastly, the Jazz. So the Jazz, I think, are like a safe team to target. They are more balanced. So I don't know if like any guy has huge upside here, but again, if you're going for like a safer build, I think you could build more of that mid-range build and maybe get a couple of guys from the Jazz in a decent spot. Donovan Mitchell at 7-9, I think will be decently popular. Should play mid-30s minutes. Again, 1 for 42 last game. I think he's a pretty decent play. Also, Rudy Gobert at 7-2. That just seems a little bit underpriced. Like the 2 guys from the Jazz, the top 2, I think look pretty good in the slate. Conley's always like a safe play. If you're going for the, riskier, maybe high upside play, it's probably Jordan Clarkson. He's been playing really well at the bench, and he's continuing. Even with Ingles back, he still played about 30 minutes. So, like, if Clarkson's going to play close to 30 minutes, no matter what, like, yeah, I am definitely intrigued by him for GPPs. Bojan's always a decent GPP play too. We kind of know we're getting out of him about 30 minutes. Somewhat reliant in the scoring, but again, viable at that price. Don't really love Royce O'Neal. Joe Ingles is okay value. Should get 20-ish, maybe a little bit more minutes-wise. Again, fine. And the last guy I'll mention here is Derek Favors. 3.4K, probably gets about 15 minutes. He's a decent point per minute guy, so I think we can definitely look to him if you need someone super, super cheap. But that's it, guys. Let's refresh this one more time. Let's get to questions. Again, it's this slate. I would recommend playing pretty light. I think the upside is that stars and scrubs build, but it's riskier, right? And you got to play guys that you probably don't want to in that like below 4K range. Yeah, I got like a cough, and then like I was almost like a hiccup. Do you like Ingles' price? I mean, he's like one of like 15 guys in that like, I don't know, 4.5 to 3K range, I think, is in play. Niang, so I wouldn't go to Niang with Ingles back. And the reason unless you think the game blows out, the reason is he only played 13, and he came and he played the blowout minutes, so he was only on pace for like 8 minutes. So I don't love Niang, unless you think the game blows out. Yeah, you can build a lineup like that with all the stars. Caruso or Wanamaker? I think I would rather have Caruso. Fade quickly with Burks back? I don't know if Burks takes. I mean, it could. He could take his minutes away, but I think Quickly and Peyton still split the point guard duties, and Alec Burks kind of takes away from Reggie Bullock. That's my guess. He could lose a little bit of minutes from Quickly. Again, it really does make the fringe guys from the Knicks really risky, like all those like wings guards. Harrell or Lopez? Lopez for me because of the minutes. Would you rather Bojan if you have the salary to get up him over Ingles? I would rather Bojan. He'll play more minutes. I mean, I think he has a little bit of higher upside. Yeah, I don't think I would get to Niang. Spending up for Randall, then going. I think like that's like a safe build. Yeah, so you get Randall and then kind of more balanced. So like, yeah, again, you have like Middleton, Drew, Montrez in the first game. You have like a lot of the Jazz guys. So like, I think that's like a safer build probably. Again, I think the build that has more upside is the one with the stars and scrubs build, but it's just riskier. Wiseman, yeah, I mean, he got in foul. That only reason he burned you is he's got in foul trouble. So like, again, he's one of those guys where things go right, he has upside. He's been a decent point per minute guy recently. Minutes have been solid for him. Again, like a Bobby Portis, right? If things go right and Bobby Portis gets extended, he could break the slate, and same with Quickly, right? If we get like 25 minutes out of Quickly, he could also break the slate. It's just a matter of, do those guys get the minutes, right? Does Wiseman stay out of foul trouble? I don't know. I don't know if he does. Clarkson or Conley straight up. So I think that's tough. Conley's probably a little bit safer, but honestly, Clarkson's been playing really well. He's been stuffing the stat sheet. I think if we're going for the upside, it might be Clarkson. Wiseman chalk. I think Wiseman will be, I don't know if he's going to be chalk, but I think he'll be decently popular. Yeah, so like I could see Portis getting extended a little bit because the Lakers are big. Quickly, more minutes with Rivers. Yeah, so you have Rivers out, you have Burks in. I don't know what to make of Quickly's minutes. It's just a matter of, will they close with him, or will they extend him, or will they go extend Alfred Payton? No, Quickly's not starting. I think all the Bucks guys are underpriced. The main guys. That's a good question. I think I'd rather have LeBron, KCP, and Wiggins. Portis viable? Yep, just went over that. I think Portis has a good amount of upside. It's just a matter of, does he get the minutes? I haven't seen anything on Burks. Again, like, that's just my guess is he's going to be limited, but we don't know that for certain. Is KCP a good value play tonight? Does he hit his shots? I don't know if he hits a shot. Again, he's like one of like 10 to 15 guys that are viable. Should play about 20 to 25 minutes. So, like, yes, he's in play. Does he hit his three-point shots is a good question. I don't know. But if he does, he can get you 20 plus. I think Brook Lopez is actually is a pretty solid play in the mid-range. Do like him a good amount there in the mid-range. AD or Giannis, straight up Giannis. KCP or Pat Connaughton, it's basically a coin flip there. KCP will probably play more minutes. So with those two being pretty close, I mean, I don't really think Pat Connaughton has a really high floor either. So it's like, I guess I would just go with the minutes and go KCP there. I think Caruso's viable. 20 minutes off the bench, he's viable. TJ Augustine's viable. No, Randall's not a must play. Not a must play. Wiseman or Lopez? That's a good question. I'll go Wiseman, but it's close. Ingles over Bobby? I think Ingles is a little bit safer. I think he gets 20 to 25 minutes, whereas Bobby Portis' minutes are trending down. But like I said, I think Bobby Portis definitely has more upside if things go right. Spending too much money. Hey, I mean, I would play very light tonight. Like I'm almost taking the night off for myself, because I don't like when I have to play guys like DJ Augustine and Pat Connaughton and KCP, and like I gotta consider these guys. I'm not confident. So it's like, it just comes down to guessing on the right value play and hoping they don't kill you. I don't like slates like that. Yeah, that's the thing. Like with Ingles back, like Niang was on pace for less than 10 minutes, so that game did not blow out. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. I'm playing it light. I'm going to enjoy that Lakers game. All right, guys, one more minute here, then I do got to bounce. I think you can definitely, if you're playing Middleton and Giannis together, I would just run it back with either AD or LeBron and just go the full game stack. So, yeah, quickly Portis or Burks in the Spanish League for one day. I would say Alec Burks if there's no limitations, Alec Burks. If there are limitations, that's like basically coin flip for all three of those guys. So it just depends on, do they get the minutes, right? Quickly's minutes are up in the air. Same with Bobby Portis's. Alec Burks, we don't know. So I'll just say Burks at the moment. But Ingles or Bogdanovich, I think Bojan has a little bit higher ceiling just because minutes-wise. Ingles for Australian Prime Minister. Wiggins or Oubre? It's Oubre for me. Connaughton or KCP? I'll go KCP just to the minutes. But yeah, that's the only reason why. GPP center Gasol. I wouldn't say he's the best. I mean, I like Wiseman and Lopez. Wiseman and Lopez at center for me. If you can get to them. I'm not comfortable with like those value centers, but they're in play. No, I don't think I think Obi Toppin might be out of the rotation tonight. Kuzma, I would rather have Harrell. O'Neal or Draymond? Draymond for sure. Drew or Bledsoe? Yeah, 100% Drew. I don't think I would play Bullock tonight. That's just me. With Alec Burks back, I would probably avoid Bullock. Caruso or Augustine? Flip a coin. They're basically similar. I guess Caruso, because he's had a little bit of a higher floor, where Augustine, has literally had like 1 and 2 fantasy points in a couple games. Caruso or Wanamaker. Caruso. Gobert or Randall. For me, it's Randall. You don't have to play Wiseman. I think Randall's solid. Yeah, I do like Montrez. Montrez, like those Lakers mid-range guys, I like. Montrez or Lopez, that's a good question. I'll go Brook because of the minutes, but I do like them both. I'm losing money tonight. I can feel it. I mean, I probably am. I'm looking at my lineup with DJ Augustine in it. I'm playing DJ Augustine tonight, so I am probably losing money. Yes, I agree with you. All right, guys. Ingles are quickly, so Ingles is definitely safer if you're shooting for the upside quickly. Yeah, KCP's playing. Wiggins or Barrett. I do have to get out of here, though. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night. I appreciate you guys coming to check out this short live stream. I'll be back Friday. Much longer live stream. We have 10 or 11 games. It should be a better slate. Good luck tonight, guys. Enjoy the games, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.